everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm starting a new series to my channel called the Cricut Can Too. A lot of you guys asked that I make a card using my Cricut, and I do think that the Cricut is a little limiting, but I do want to show you what it can do. So I'm going to be duping my own cards that I made through my own stamps and dies using the Cricut. Now today is going to be a little special because I'm not duping any card, I'm creating a new card just using my Cricut and Design Space. So with that being said, I want to show you guys the card that we're going to be making. Everything, again, that you see here is all done through the Cricut. Now, I do want to show you my inspiration. This is not completely my idea. I found this on Pinterest. How super cute is this card? This is by Melanie Cardmaker. I came across this as I was searching for ideas, and I thought, wow, this is such a cute card. I have to make my own card. And so I did, using my Cricut. Now, again, in this series, I'm going to be duping my old cards and using my Cricut. So I'm going to show you how you can use Design Space to create the card and be without having to buy all the fancy stamps and dies. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop onto the computer. But before we do, I need to hop into Canva, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So let's go ahead and hop into Canva. Okay, so Canva. The reason why we're in Canva first is because I couldn't find the seagull that I wanted to use to cut out in Design Space. I searched and searched and searched. Now I could have missed one, but I really couldn't find what I was looking for. So I went into Canva. I actually went to Design Space. I went to I went to Design Bundles, Creative Fabrica, and none of them had what I was looking for. So Canva is usually my last resort because not everyone uses Canva. Now there is a free version of Canva that you can use, but it is limiting. So you'll have to go a few extra steps than I would, just because of what's available for free members and those who are paying for premium. I'm a premium membership. So what I'm going to do is create a design and do 8 by 8. So I already have it pre-selected. Now you don't have to necessarily do 8 by 8, but it is very, you know, it doesn't matter as long as it's a sizable sheet of, you know, workspace. All right, so what I wanted to do is I went into Elements and I typed in seagull. And I went into graphics because with photos, you really, getting the SVG of a photo is not as easy as a graphic. So I just clicked on See All, and then I went through all of the seagulls that I really liked, and I found this one. So I'm going to click on that one. Now here's the thing with this seagull. It is, of course, if you look at my card, I don't use any of that, and I'm going to show you how to work around that. Okay, so I am just going to size this up. Now, you don't have to use Canva, of course. You can use Design Space to keep it completely Cricut related and Design Space related, but I honestly searched and searched and couldn't find what I was looking for. So I'm just going to size this up to what I like, and then I'm going to come up here in the upper right corner and click on Share. And then I'm going to hit Download. And then I'm going to select where it says PNG, I'm going to select SVG, so that way the Cricut will turn these into layers, okay? And then I'm also going to, here's the important part, I'm going to make sure it's a transparent background. There's actually an issue. It says there's only one image on the graphic on your design. Premium images can't be exported on their own, so we have to add one more element. It's just their rule. So what I do is just duplicate it, and I push the little wing off to the side, and then now I'm able to download this seagull. So, and I'll just remove this when I do a contour and get rid of some layers. Okay, so you have to have another image because it's like a copyright issue, or you know, whatever issue, you know, whatever their policy is. Okay, so going back into Design Space, there is my image. Now all you have to do is click on Upload Image, Browse, and then you can select your SVG and hit Open. Okay, so I already have mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit Cancel. Oh, you know what? Let me just do that process with you guys. So Browse, there we go, hit Open. Okay, hit Continue, and then hit Upload again. And then there we go. There is my seagull. So it turned the image into an SVG, and you can see it's all grouped together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup it and just delete everything. So I don't need that, delete. And I don't need this whole bottom part of the seagull, so I'm going to delete that. And then I'm also going to delete the beak because I don't really like the beak. You can see the beak is a little different in this one than it is in this one. So I delete the beak. Now you could of course leave it and how creepy is that? Okay, so I'm going to delete that, and of course I kept the eyes, but I did make them smaller. So I believe it's a turkey face, so what I'm doing is to see like where I got this image or the image number. For those who don't know, all I do is click on it, right click, select image info, and then you can click on that, and then it will actually, well, let's see here, delete the percentage. I don't know, their newer update really has screwed the pooch on that. It used to be able to do that. So it's M506. Oh, you know what? Probably I need to erase that and just hit the pound. There we go. Yep, there it is. So for some reason, it does that percentage 23. I'm not sure what that needs or what that means. And even if you were to search it without that pound symbol, you're gonna get like some, you know, it's trying to find the letter M because that's what you typed. You have to add that hashtag or that pound symbol in order for it to find that item number. So that's why I erased that, clicked on it, and then I'm gonna hit add to canvas. Okay. So now that I added that to canvas, what I did is again ungroup it and then delete everything that I don't need. Now this, however, this is one single entity, if you will. So I just need to come over here and hit contour and then click on what I want to get removed. And so I clicked on that and hit the X. Now I wanted the beak to go downward, so I went ahead and come up here and hit flip, and then I just did flip vertical. So now I can size it to, you know, whatever I need. Okay, so that's how you add an image from Canva to Design Space, how you convert it into an SVG, and then of course how you contour. Now I already did all the work here, so I'm going to focus on this right here. So what I did was I created a, let me ungroup that real quick. I created a, and let me, I guess I hate that they don't close that automatically. Oh, I hate some of their updates, I swear. But anyways, so I created a rectangle and I just turned it into a guide. And I knew that my finished card size is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now you can use your Cricut to cut out your square. So this would be your card panel. However, the reason why I don't suggest doing that is because you're going to be doing some ink blending, and sometimes when you do ink blending, the edges kind of get a little bit of a harsh, darker color. So you can, you know, trim that off when you trim down your card base, so, or your card panel. So you'll see what I'm talking about when we actually do it. So I don't use the Cricut. Now you could obviously do 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and cut your card stock out that way and then trim it down later. But I already have 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card panels already pre-cut out. So just because of how often I make cards. So this is why I don't need to do that on the Design Space. Okay, so we already went over this. So this is just to try to give me an idea of sizing this down, okay? Now, the font, I just chose a font that I really like and created an offset. This is like my new favorite font. It's called the Islander, and I'll be sure to link that in the description box below. I'm obsessed with this. You guys will see in upcoming videos. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, you'll see this font, or maybe 3 weeks, it depends. I can't remember what's all coming out, but you will see this font used quite often. I love it. It's from Font Bundles. Again, I'll be sure to link it below. So all you gotta do is find a font that you like and create an offset, which is right here, and then you of course can size it down to, you know, whatever makes sense for you. And I don't quite remember what my offset was, so I apologize. Okay, so 0.06 is the offset, and you can see that it has that little gap right there. And so what I do is just click on it and then hit contour, and then I just clicked on that, and then it actually like brings it back, and then you can hit the X button and you're good to go. You're gonna want to, unless that's the look that you're looking, or that's the look you're going for, then by all means leave it. But that was not the vibe. I just wanted like a little offset. Okay, so that's what I did with that. Now, for the waves, what I did was I actually duplicated this, and then I turned this into a basic cut, and then I think I shortened it, and I don't think it really matters, you know, the size, as long as the width is the right size that you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this to 4.25, because again, I'm going to want to trim it because I will be doing some ink blending. Now, if you don't do ink blending because you don't have any of that, then just use color cardstock, and then you just would have it at 4. But because I'm doing ink blending, because I like that look, I'm going to have mine at 4.25, so I can trim off any harsh edges or strong, bold edges from the ink that I'm blending, okay? But again, if you're just cutting on cardstock color, then don't worry about that. Cut it down to 4, save yourself the hassle. Now, you can go the full length of the paper, so that way you can start the waves, but I didn't know what I was doing and how much I needed, so I just kind of did that and overlapped it. Now, if I thought through this a little bit more, then yeah, I would probably like reduce the size and all that stuff, but I didn't know how big I want the sun to be and all that, so I just, you know, I was just going to overlap everything. So I kind of just did some guesswork. And speaking of size, let me tell you the size of the pigeon, so that way you guys, or no, I'm sorry, the seagull. I did, it's 2.99 wide, so 3 wide and 4.72 or 4.75 tall. Okay, and then I also made the eyes a little bit smaller. So then let me, where are your eyes at, little guy here? Here we go. It is 1/4 inch round. Okay. Now those little whites of the eyes, I'm going to use my jelly roll pen and color that part in, so that's just not even going to be a thing. Okay, so now to get the wave part, I just went into images and then typed in curvy line and found a bunch of curves that I really liked. So I just kind of selected different ones. Okay, and so I'm going to bring that over here, and then I'm going to just place it somewhere about right there. You just want to make sure it's not right at the edge because you don't want it to cut it off. And then all you got to do is select both of them and hit slice. So you can get rid of this part. Now, of course, now you have this part here, and all you gotta do is click on contour and click on that. So that's the part that you want to get rid of, and bada boom, there you go. You have your own little wavy line like you see here. Now, I did 5 of them, and I think I only ended up using 4. So I kind of just didn't know which one I wanted to use, so I just was, you know, just playing around with what I liked. Okay, so the ones that I use, I will list in the description box below, so that way you know the item number in case you want to use the same one as well. So let's put everything on the right layer, so that way we don't have to do a bunch of random cutting. So this is all going to be on the white layer. This is on the white layer as well. This needs to be on the white layer because that's going to be cut out of cardstock. The hello will be cut out of vinyl, so I don't need that. This I'm going to ungroup, and then the beak is going to also be cut on vinyl, or I'm sorry, cardstock. The eyes will be cut on cardstock, but it's going to be a different color, so I'm going to leave that black. Okay, so everything else should be good to go. So I'm going to hit make. I'm going to click on the mat, and I'm using 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to have to, let's see here. This one's going to be, it's going to be tight. Okay, so I'm going to move that there, and then I'm going to move this here. And then I'm going to move this here. And then these two guys I'm going to get rid of because I don't need those. Those are just the whites of the eyes that we'll cut out. So 8.5 by 11, I'm right above that, so that's good. So that's all looking great. And then you have the 2 eyeballs, and then you have the vinyl. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit continue. I'm going to switch down to my desk real quick here in a moment, but to show you, I'm doing Bluetooth, so that's why I was trying to connect. Okay, so I'm using 80-pound cardstock, so I'm going to click on 80-pound cardstock. I am using up my mat as best as using this mat up, so I'm about ready to get rid of it because it is just getting too dirty. I'm going to flip my mat around because this is not as sticky and I don't want this to lift as it's trying to cut. So I'm just going to put that down there as long as you're going to put it in the right way. So I'll feed it in this way and it will cut all in this area. Okay, so let me run this through my Cricuts and then we will come back to cut out the eyes and then the sentiment. Okay, I did a wonderful job cutting it out. I'm going to flip my mat over. I'm going to move this out. Oops. Move this out of the way. And you want to bend the mat, not your cardstock, because it will curl your cardstock. So just be mindful of this. Now, of course, if you are using color cardstock, then you're gonna have to cut yours into pieces, and that way you can get it all cut out at once. But because I'm not, I'm ink blending. Okay, next order of business is to get these eyes out. So I'm just using some scrap black cardstock, and you will see that I already, because I'm gonna get it fed in this way, sorry, I'm upside down. So I already, look at this, not even sticking. Okay. See, I need to get rid of this. So I already have 2 holes here. So what I'm going to do in Design Space is hit Edit, and then I'm just going to shuffle that over to the 2 column, the 2-inch mark, or the 1-inch mark, and then cut it out that way. So then hit Done, and then I'll hit 80-pound cardstock and feed that through the Cricut. Now I will tell you with stamps and dies that it does make a nice, with a die I should say, it makes a nice little beveled edge and it just gives it a more polished look. And this is why us creators that makes cards likes to use stamps and dies, because I'm like you. If you're interested in this video because you're like, I'm not spending or wasting the money on stamps and dies, I get it. I was like that with you. I'm like, well, I have a Cricut. Why would I waste my money on it? And then I started getting into cards, and then I realized, okay, I can understand why people buy stamps and dies. It really does, in my opinion, make a difference. And I'm just trying to find a good spot to kind of put this scrap piece. This is shimmer vinyl, by the way. So let me see here, 2, and then, or no. 2, yeah, this should be fine. This is my really old shimmer vinyl. I'm actually surprised it weeded out just fine, but of course you use whatever you need. And then of course I don't think I have shimmer vinyl as my favorite, so I'm gonna hit browse all materials, and then I'm gonna come down to vinyl, and then I'm gonna search for shimmer. And then you can see it's not a favorite of mine because I don't like working with shimmer vinyl. It is terrible in my opinion, but I digress. We have officially cut out everything. So now, again, if you are cutting color cardstock, then you don't need to proceed with this next step other than weeding your vinyl and applying that. But you can skip to the part of the video where you would be assembling. But for those who like to ink blend or kind of want to get into it, then stick with me here. And I think I'll just do just these 4. So yeah, I'll do these 4. So actually I only had 4. I just did a duplicate. So there you go. All right, my mistake. All right, so we're going to be using a lot of inks for this. For the water and sky, we're going to be using Concord and 9th. We're going to be using Powder, Harbor, and Aqua Sky. For the sand, we're going to be using Brush Corduroy and Vintage Photo. For the seagull, we're going to use some accent color. We're going to use Lost Shadow. For the beak, we're going to be using Clay by Simon Says Stamp and Carved Pumpkin. And then for the sun, we're going to be using Mustard Seed and Squeezed Lemonade. You're like, I know, I can't believe how much ink, or how many inks I need for this card that doesn't have a whole lot going on, but I digress. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the pigeon, or not pigeon, I keep on saying pigeon, I keep on thinking it's a pigeon, but it's not, it's a seagull. We are going to get the seagull done because it's probably going to be the easiest of everything. So I'm going to bring that in, and I'm gonna I just want to use, I like Lost Shadow. It's just a little, it's a good accent to something that's completely white, and you're just gonna bring it in just to give it a little, because seagulls are not exactly stark white, right? And I'm just getting the edges a little bit. I don't care, you know, if I don't like it, I can always turn it around. That's one benefit of using your Cricut, because it doesn't have that beveled edge like a die gives you when you die cut. You can flip it over and use the other side. Of course, now then it would be mirrored, but this seagull doesn't really matter. I don't really care because we're going to end up cutting the bottom part off anyways, so that part just doesn't really matter, even though I'm going to hit that bottom because I'm not sure where I'm going to, you know, cut it off. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm going to set her aside. I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and then what I'm going to do is clean this up. I'm going to clean as I go. I'm going to use clay first. Okay, and then I am going to just bring it in. I like clay, but I don't like, I don't know, it's reading a little too orange for me, so, but I like it mixed, or not orange, too red, but I like it mixed with the carved pumpkin, because originally I was just going to do clay, and then I was like, this is not reading how I want it, so I went ahead and I'm just gonna kind of rinse that off so I can use the same one for my Distress Oxides. So bring that in, and see, I like the variation. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Sorry if you can hear my husband coughing in the background. The sinus infections have hit my house pretty good. My daughter has a sinus infection that she's getting over, so does my husband. I had it earlier this year, and I guess it was their turn, apparently. Alright, I'm going to use this one for my sand, and I'm going to do brushed corduroy first. And then I'm just going to come over like this and get that all nice and coated. That's good. And then I'm going to close that up. And then I'm going to bring in Vintage Photo and bring that in. So here's that harsh edge that I'm talking about. Let me bring that up to you guys a little bit. See how that has that harsh edge? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now that part I really can't do. I could do something about it. I have a die that would fix it, but this is all about Cricut and not using Cricut, or not using non-Cricut items. So we are going to just deal with it. There are no mistakes in card making. There's just happy accidents. Most of the time. Okay, that is good. I love Distress Oxides. It's probably my favorite to work with, honestly. Now let's bring in the quarter knife. I'm gonna, sorry for the loud noise. I'm gonna do powder. Okay. Get that nice and powdered up, if you will. So let me just turn some music on for you while I finish this up. I got 2 more I gotta do. Same process. Oh, see, my fingers are getting on there. Oh man, my fingers. I guess I have some of that. Oh gosh, some of that sand or the brown ink. So I'm gonna use a little. Just because I want to get this done. I can go wash my hands, but they're just going to get dirty, so I'm just going to do this. Got my work surface all cleaned. Here is my little envelope that has all of my pre-cut panels. This is why I didn't need to have my Cricut cut it out, but of course, you know, if you don't, then by all means. So you can see I kind of messed up. Actually, I want to bring this up. I want to show you this before I move on. You can see it got kind of crazy here and there, and honestly, it's not going to be a problem because I'm going to end up overlapping them anyways, so, and it's just gonna, you know, it's not gonna be a big deal. And I can kind of, you can kind of tell that I got a little bit of this on that too, and it's gonna get covered up anyways, so not a big deal. So here's kind of what it's gonna look like. And the reason I want to make sure that I'm putting powder down first is because I'm gonna have powder for the sky. Okay, so that's so that way you're not putting powder and powder at the top there, right? Okay, so I am just kind of guesstimating. Actually, I may switch these two because this is the same one as this one, I think. Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Maybe I made duplicates. I'm gonna see if I can switch it. That may not look good, but we'll see. Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know, do I? Yeah, it's gonna be fine. All right, so then I am gonna kind of position these about where I think I'm gonna like it. And once I get that into place, I'm gonna move that down and, you know, just kind of eyeball about how far I want them from each other. And then I'm gonna use a pencil and I'm gonna very lightly put a little mark here and then here. I guess it doesn't really matter there. And then maybe there, okay? This is going to give me an idea of where I want my sun to be, okay? So I'm going to use Squeeze Lemonade first, okay? And then I'm just going to start rotating it. Not going to make anything special, just kind of do something like that. Yep, that looks good. We'll come back if we need to fix it. I'm working on my ink blending. I am no ink blender. I'm going to tap some of that off, and then I'm going to start in the middle. Probably could have used a little bit of a smaller brush, but oh well. Okay, and I'm going to come back and smooth that out. And there we go. Actually, let me just bring in a little more towards the top. I got it kind of low. All right. There we go. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's see how that is going to look with my pieces. All I got to do is just make sure. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. In fact, I am going to leave this here, and I am going to mark it. Oh, I already did. Okay. Because, move that away, right there. I'm going to bring in my powder, and I am going to move that away so I don't accidentally get powder on that. Okay. And then I'm going to just start filling the areas of the sky. I'm not going to be, you know, meticulous about this part because we want to, now you could most certainly use this to give some type of clouds, you know, if you want. Have that go like that, and you know, that could work. Let's see. There we go. I didn't do this in my last one, so this actually kind of works out. Bring that there. Okay. Well, I kind of like this. Bravo, Rachel. I didn't even think about this in my last card. Okay. I will tell you, like, here we go. Got a little bit too crazy on that side, turning green, so I want to kind of be careful of that. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. All right, let me get my workspace cleaned up real quick, and then we will start to do some cutting. Bringing in my paper trimmer. I'm gonna trim off this side. So I'm gonna trim this off. I'm also gonna trim that sun off. I'm going to trim off evenly, and so I'm going to do a 1/16 on both sides. And then bring this down to 4. So again, our panel is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I don't mind this at the top, so I'm not going to trim the top. So I'm going to trim the bottom. And this is going to be at 5 1/4, excuse me. Okay, so there's our card panel. Looks great. Then I'm gonna just trim down my my waves and my sand. So this is gonna get trimmed down to 4, and I'm doing this side because I have a little bit of a harsher edge on that side. So I'm just kind of looking at what doesn't look good, and then trimming it down from there, right? So at least that's the idea. Okay, so just looking at the here, I don't like that side, so we'll trim that down. So again, that's going down to 4. And then I'm going to trim off this side because I have more of a harsh edge on there. So I really went in harsh on the right side, apparently. Now, before I get any further, it's turning out so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move this in. And let me get out my weeding tool. And let's weed this out very carefully. Okay. Got that weeded out. And then what I'll do before I put it on my my offset, I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. Righty, I added 4 layers. I didn't need this extra layer, so I think 4 was just plenty enough. I'm going to get some transfer tape. Now, you can use some low-tack transfer tape. I just used, this is a used transfer tape, so this is why it should not rip my cardstock, but you know, since I'm on camera, who the heck knows, it could not transfer really well. Alright, so let me get this on here. Okay. Of course, with Cricut, you can do embossing, right? They have, or foiling, they have that, you could do that. You know, it's possibility you could do iron-on. You know, so if you don't have it in the vinyl and you have it in iron-on, you could do that. So the possibilities are out there. Just making it work. All right, so we have our little sentiment. I love the shimmer. I actually, oh, come on, focus. Love it. I need to know exactly how much of my pigeon, see, there I go, how much my seagull I am going to, in fact, let me get the eyes and nose. Let me not worry about that just yet. Let's go ahead and get this all situated. Really, I should have not said hello and just put mine, and then this would be a really cute Valentine's Day card, especially if you live in the South, and you can say mine, mine, like be mine. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I'm gonna make this a nice Valentine's Day card, if I remember. We still got a long ways to go before it's Valentine's Day, so. But wouldn't that be cute? Because, you know, from Finding Nemo, they say mine, mine. Hopefully everyone knew what I meant. I need to have my daughter watch that. She is really getting into the Disney movies. All right, let me just... I love using reverse tweezers just to get my fingers out of the way. And it's something, if you're getting into card making, this is definitely on the top 10 things I would get as a card maker. Is for sure very useful. Okay. Y'all are not going to believe that you did this all on your Cricut. I'm telling you, it's a slippery slope. If you don't want to spend the money, and just be warned that it is a very slippery slope with card making, because it's expensive and it can get really expensive. Let's just put it that way. You don't have to buy all the things, but you kind of want to once you get started. Oh my goodness, let me tell you. So stick with your Cricut if you want to save money. Crafting in general has just gotten expensive over the years, but it's cheaper than therapy. I lied, it's really not the way I craft. Not the way I craft. Okay. And if you want to, you can add a little cheeks to make it cute and pink, but I'm gonna leave, might be him, I don't know. And then I'm just gonna use a jelly roll. I've had this in my craft stash for, it's 0.5, forever. I'm surprised it's not dried up, honestly. Just gonna add a little dot. I just wish I can draw better. I am not a drawer. I mean, I can draw on the computer wonderfully. I'm a great drawer on the computer, but hand drawing, nope. My stick figures even look terrible. If it's going to come out, oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. It's cute. I'm going to use my foam tape. I think I made this a little bit too wide. My foam base, I should say. Yep, a little too wide. So I just got to trim it down. I love these. To me, y'all, making your own foam backers is just amazing. It's a world of a difference to me. You could tell it just makes it feel more professional, and I don't know. I have a video where I did my own. I will tell you, this is not my own idea. I got it off of Carissa Wiley, her channel, and then I think she got it off of somebody else. So it came, at least I watched her channel, so it came from her. I'm going to make sure I give her credit. I'm not affiliated, or I don't talk to her, but I'm all about trying to give credit where credit is due. Okay, I'm going to stand up and get this on center here. There we go. That looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where I want to cut my seagull. Just going to mark it slightly below that so that way that marking does not show up on the actual seagull. Okay. Perfect. And I'll get him cut here in a minute. Alright, so then I'm going to move all of this to the side. And I am going to just slightly mark. There we go. And then I'm going to come over and, oh my god, this just scared the crap out of me. I thought this was a spider. It was just a buzz. Oh my god. You guys should have seen me. Oh, my heart just skipped a beat. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Alright. That's enough theatrics for one day. I'm going to go slightly above that line so you don't see the pencil mark. Okay. So yeah, this series is all going to be about duping something I see on Pinterest or, you know, a card company and using the Cricut, or going back and duping my own card that I made through stamps and stencils and dies, and recreated them using the Cricut. Hopefully you guys will appreciate this new series. Let me know if this is something that you really want to see, or you're like, yeah, it's okay. I'm not a card maker, so I'm not going to bother with it. I know a lot of you guys are not card makers, and I know a lot of y'all want to see more of that on my channel, and I appreciate your guys' feedback on that. This is just the season I'm in. I love making cards. I was a card maker, I think, before I even got into the Cricut. And but I was more about paper piecing than stamping and die cutting. I watched a lot of May Made It. She does more paper piecing than die cutting, and she's really the one that got me into cards, excuse me. And then I kind of got away from it and got into Cricut, and then, well, the rest was kind of history. Now I'm back into cards, and I hear you guys want to see more of my craft with me videos and the Cricut videos, and I would love to push out more content, but I can only DIY so much in my house before it just becomes too much. So I'm kind of just backing away from creating so much decor until I really want to come up with something. Don't get me wrong, my craft with me videos are going to definitely come out once a week, except for 1 week a month where I do all cards that whole week, and that's really because I didn't get time to do a craft with me video, or I just have a lot of card content and I want to push it out. But usually about once a month, 1 week out of the month, I do all cards, and some months I don't. But I do try. So I appreciate y'all's feedback, and I will try my hardest to make sure that I accommodate everybody. But right now my heart's into card making, so I apologize for those who are just not into card making. But like I said, I promise that I will. Oh, this is turning out so cute. But anyways, I promise I will try to, you know, always every week, for the most part, push out card content, or craft Cricut content. Okay, so then it's going to go ahead and cut slightly above that. Okay, here we go. Perfection. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring some gray down there. I don't think I have enough gray, so let me bring in my Lost Shadow. Just want to bring in a little bit more at the bottom, because I did it with the other one and it just, the bottom of the seagull just blended in too much with the outline of the cardstock, the card base. So that's why I chose to do that. Let me clean this up real quick. Alrighty, I went ahead and added some really thin foam tape. I made a bunch of foam tape myself. In fact, let me show you. This is just the tip of the iceberg of all of the foam tape scraps that I have. However, it is a lot thicker than this foam tape that I have, that I use. I think I bought it from Simon Says Stamp. It's like Big Mama's foam tape roll. I don't know. And it's super, I'll show it to you guys. I think the cover came, I can't remember. But anyways, it is super thin. And because the card base or the panel is already pretty thick, I don't want to add more thickness to it, because then you're going to run into shipping issues and all that jazz. So, well, not shipping issues, but mailing issues. And it's not really issues, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Oh my god, this seagull is so cute. Oh my goodness. Alright. I'm going to try to keep that in mind while I'm trying to place this. Okay. There we go. How cute! Oh my goodness. I would love to know from that person that I was inspired by. I wonder if what she did for her process, if she used it. I mean, it looks like she used a dye. I don't think it was listed, but I'm gonna have to check it out, because that was a cute dye. Although I don't need a dye because I can use my Cricut. And this font, y'all, it's my favorite. I want to redo all my labels with this font. Oh my goodness, but I am just, that's a lot of work. There we go. And in my other card, I did foam tape, and it worked out just fine too. So if you want to do foam tape not layered up like this, you most certainly can do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my acrylic block on this just to give it some weight. These are dewdrops that I'm using. How appropriate for the beach view here that we're having with this nice inquisitive seagull. This little seagull, he's like, what's going on? What food we got? I'm hungry. Give me something good to eat. These fish ain't fishing. All right. Oh my goodness. I did just say that. All right. Okay, let's put the sticker on for the grand finale, and just when I think I couldn't outdo myself, I did it. Look how cute that is. So here is my original that I did off camera. Oh no, my edge got squished. Oh no. Well, good thing I redid my, I'll have to fix that. I'll have to put that in a book and flatten it. Good thing I redid it. So here they are. I would have to say I love both how they turned out. This one, the sun's probably my favorite, but I love the little beak. And like I said, I think that adding it, I didn't add it down here, so I'm glad that I added it here. And I made the neck a little bit longer than I did this one, so a little bit of a difference, right? And the sand is a lot wider too, I think. Maybe. No, maybe not. But at least it did look like it. So alrighty, well, thank you so much for watching. This is my Cricut Can Too series. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see more of these type of videos, and tell me what you enjoyed most about it and if you learned anything from it. Alright, thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next cart or craft video. Bye.